You're watching Masters in Trading Live with Jonathan Rose.
Hey everybody, my name is Jonathan Rose and welcome to Masters in Trading Live. At Masters in Trading Live, I get on here every day the market's open, go over the market, share some thoughts, and once in a while we'll even share our trade of the day. Market's kind of peculiar right now, right? Right after the election, everything's strong. Bitcoin doing its best to march right to 100K. But can everything go up? How does that work, right? Bitcoin goes up, the market goes up, metals were going up, metals pulled back, those chilled out. It doesn't feel like everything can just go up, right? So that's what's a little interesting. The volatility in the overall stock market is really dropping. And so the market, it kind of feels like it's an inflection point. Wants to feel which way it wants to go. That's what we're going to talk about today. Something to watch out for. And we know this is going to happen. Trump presidency comes with lots of tariffs, right? Everything is going to be about US made is going to be supported and things coming in imported are going to be taxed. We know that's going to happen. So investing, we should be thinking about that. And that's what I'm going to cover today. I want to go over a bit of a China trade, big news with ticker TSMC. We've been talking a lot about short-term options, specifically ODTE. Those are 0 days till expiration. Now, there's no real difference if traders are learning how to trade short-term options or longer-term options. 3 day till expiration, 1 month, 3 months, 9 months, 2 years. Options are options. The only difference is the time that you have until expiration. So the longer time that you have, the more premium in those options. We're going to be talking about short-term options, and there ain't much premium in those. So let's go over the screen. This one's going to be a lot of fun. Again, I have the questions up in YouTube. Throw your questions in there. Throw your comments in there. I'll make sure I'll get to each one. And thank you, everybody, for joining. Last few that joined. Hey, Matt. What's up, buddy? And Charles, thanks for joining. All right, let's have some fun, guys. We're going to start here. News yesterday. Let me get my pen here. All right. Tons of news coming out, right? The news flow is going to give us really, really good trades, but we also have to put on our common sense hat. Now, what does that mean? Well, our common sense hat says that in a Trump presidency, China investments are going to have a tough time, right? U.S. investments are probably going to be far more better off in a Trump presidency. So this came out yesterday. According to Reuters, TSMC has been directed by the U.S. Department of Commerce to stop producing and shipping advanced AI chips to Chinese companies. That sucks, right? Government comes in and you can't sell your chips to Chinese companies. Well, what does that mean? Well, TSMC, for the full year of 2023, China has consistently been 11 to 13% of their total revenues. Fuck, that's crazy. 11 to 13% of their total revenues, and then the U.S. Department of Commerce comes in and says, stop selling your chips to China. Sacrifice that 11 to 13% of revenue. Here's TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor. I know many have this in their long-term holdings. Taiwan Semiconductor is going to be very heavy. They're going to have a tough time making money over these next couple of years. They just are. So TSM, that's something that we need to be careful with. TSM is expensive. Here's a stock that I think is inexpensive relative to TSM. So you have TSM coming in from China ASML as well. The US government doesn't like ASML selling their chips to China as well. But if I was looking to play a semiconductor, if I was looking between TSM and ASML, I would much prefer being long ASML rather than TSM. TSM is not very investable for me right now because of that big weight coming from the US government. Let's talk about short-term options. Now, again, an option is an option is an option. If you learn how to trade options with 1 day until expiration, you've also learned how to trade options with 1 year to expiration, because the only difference between those two options is time. Well, options have had astronomical growth since the 1970s, but something very interesting is happening since 2016. 0 days till expiration, 1 day until expiration. Now, 53% of all of the options that are traded are either 0 day or 1 day options. This is by far the fastest growing area of the market. And why do people want to trade these? I think there's two big benefits to trading short-term options. One is the obvious one. There's a really good opportunity to make a whole bunch of money. The next slide, I'm going to show you some of the clients that are doing that in our Discord. Bigger benefit, in my opinion, many people are just, excuse my language, just way, way, way long stock. Yeah, TSM, CS, TSM. Many people are just crazy long stock. You know, they're long everything. So when the market pulls back, they get hammered. A great way to use short-term options is you can protect your trading account. If you think the market's going to pull back, traders can use short-term options to quickly protect their trading account. Short-term options are also really good when not much is going on. So yesterday, Carmine, thank you so much for sharing this in our Discord. This is what Carmine's been doing, and Carmine's been doing this for a little bit. Yesterday, 3 good OTTE QQQ trades. Okay? This is why they bounced inside of the daily range. Getting laid off and retiring was the best thing that happened. That's funny. But watch what Carmine's doing. QQQs, since they've gapped up from the election, they've really just sat in no man's land. Same highs, same lows. So all that Carmine's been doing, when you buy options, you know exactly what you're risking before you get into the trade. All that Carmine's doing is making little trades around the edges of the QQQs. So that's what it looks like in a daily. But if I look at this just for the week, 30 minutes, and if we look Friday till today, look at the QQQs. That's the range. Staying disciplined, staying on the outside of the range. And when traders are able to do that, you can make a whole bunch of money really quickly, especially when vol's low, especially when the market's really not doing very much. So Carmine, great trade. And this is something that we're definitely talking way more about in our Discord community. What is this? What do we have here? I got the chat open. Let's have some fun. What is this? How about wrong answers only? What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? 5-second delay is killing me on my little game. Can somebody put in the graphite company? Oh, you guys killed it. All right. Copper. It's a copper mine. Copper mine. And also, a couple of days ago, we talked about a graphite company. In the chat, can you guys throw the name of that graphite company? It's a 5-letter. I have it written down. I just can't think of it right away. Okay. This, my friends, is a copper company. Is a copper mine. Thank you. SYAAF Graphite is the name. SYAAF is the name that we talked about. Copper. Copper. Look at copper. Look at copper. Here's copper. I'm looking at copper futures. If you want to look at copper futures, you can just go /HG if you have access to futures. 3 and 4 standard deviation bands. That's all these are right here. We use this for discipline. Once in a while we get buy signals, and once in a while we get sell signals. Right now, copper is a buy. Copper is very, very, very inexpensive, especially relative to other commodities. But why is copper selling off? Why? It's coming, Rick. Copper is selling off, in my opinion, because of China. China are big investors in copper. China is also huge investors in Brazil. Brazil is also one of the biggest miners of copper. So copper is starting to sell off. And I think that copper is selling off. One, EV mandates going away, fine. But I think copper is selling off because tariffs that are going to come on China, and they're also going to hit Brazil. So if we look at the different China names, Sicko, great name for a ticker, by the way, Vale, BHP, FCX. These are some of the bigger copper players in the world. Vale, is a major copper producer out of Brazil. Vale is going to be this purple color that's really, really offered. I think that Chinese and Brazil copper companies are going to continue getting their butt whooped because I think big tariffs are coming. What I'm going to do in this next all access portion is I just did a deep dive and I found some US copper companies that are really going to benefit, especially as the Brazilian and the Chinese copper companies get destroyed. That's what we're going to cover on All Access right now. For everybody else, thanks so much for watching, and we'll be live tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Hey guys. Hey everybody. Okay. My mouth. This video is actually going to be for everybody in advance notice as well. I have 2 trades for you. I know there's we're coming up to November options expiry. Okay. I know people have a lot of inventory and that premium's really going to get hit. So I got 2 trades for you. 2 really good trades that I really like. For one, this copper idea, I love it. It makes so much sense getting long copper through US. The US copper company is FCX. They are huge. FCX is based in Arizona. The other copper companies that I researched, BHP has a little bit of exposure in the US, but US copper is going to be FCX. So if we go to the screen, The trade that I share, I want to make sure with, let me just check, 1 sec. So FCX, I like these January 45s. I want a little bit of time, 64 days, January 45s. Now, I'm not dying to buy a whole bunch of volatility out in January. I just really like this play. So 45s, boom, here. Something else to consider. I don't want to make this too confusing, but you could buy the stock and do a covered call. That's also not a bad play. I'd like to buy the volatility though. It's cheap. Copper is offered. FCX is a US company. Let's buy those 45s up to $1.80. That gives you plenty of room. This trade makes a lot of sense. Yeah, no brainer. Love it. FCX 45.